A very good afternoon to all our dear viewers and welcome to this live talk show conducted by Global Education and Training Institute. This beautiful Sunday afternoon, I take pride in introducing to you to a very eminent guest speaker for today. She is none other than Mrs. Aditi Sharma, who is the principal of City Montessori School, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Today, she is here with us to give us a talk on education and the role it plays in personal development and how to shape the minds of the next generation of students to inspire leaders of today for a disruptive change in education. Before we begin the talk, would like to highlight some of her major achievements in life. She has done her BA from Jamia Millia Islamia University, Masters in Computers Application from IGNOU, and a mathematics graduate from the University of Burdwan, West Bengal. She also holds the Diploma Certificate in Educational Administration from Symbiosis. She also holds the Certificate in Guidance and Counseling from IGNOU. She joined City Montessori School, Gomti Nagar 1 as a kindergarten teacher in 1991. In 1994, was given the additional duty in charge of the middle school along with teaching mathematics and computers to grade 10. In 2000, she was made the headmistress of the pre-primary and primary section of the Gomti Nagar Campus 1 of City Montessori School. From 2011 to 2013, she served as the headmistress of the newly constructed Gomti Nagar Extension Campus 1. 2013 to 2014, she was made the academic advisor at City Montessori School. And from 1st September 2014, has served as principal CMS Ashrafabad campus. Then was transferred to CMS Chowk campus as the principal from 2017. Apart from this, she has led a few delegations across the borders for various events. In 2001, she headed a team as a deputy team leader for Primary Mathematics World Contest at Hong Kong. 2009, International Mathematics and Science Olympiad for Primary School as Mathematics Tutor, Republic of Indonesia. In 2011, International Mathematics and Science Olympiad for Primary School as Team Leader, North Korea, and Team Leader for IMSO 2021, International Mathematics and Science Olympiad organized by Government of Philippines. She has a passion for social work and has become a part of Dan Utsav, has adopted the Cheshire Home, Sahara State, Lucknow, as a part of the school JYEP, that is Junior Youth Empowerment Program. Can't wait any longer to listen to you, ma'am, on such a vital topic of education and its role in our personal development. Over to you, Aditi, ma'am.
Thank you, Sumita, for that very, very generous introduction. And good afternoon to everybody. Sumita has already introduced me. So I would just like to begin with a little introduction about the institute of which I have been a part for almost 3 decades now. So I belong to the City Montessori School, like Sumita just said, and we have 17 campuses in the city of Lucknow, which is in Uttar Pradesh. And all of us know Uttar Pradesh is one of the largest states of India and would have arguably been the 3rd largest country had it been a nation on its own. So this school, it was started by a visionary couple, doctors Mrs. Bharti Gandhi and Jagdish Gandhi, and that's almost 6 decades back. We are into our 62nd year this year. And they started with a very small capital and both of them as teachers. But today, the institution is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being a single institution in one city having the largest number of pupils. We have about 57,000 children studying in City Montessori School across the 18 campuses. And about 4,500 teachers are a part of this great institution. So, and of course, the enrollment across the 18 campuses varies largely, like from as low as 500 to as large as 7,500 in one campus. And beyond its achievements of some of the highest exam results at our affiliating body, that is the Council for the Indian School Certificate Examination for IC 12 and IC 10, the founders, doctors Mrs. and Mr. Jagdish Gandhi, were extremely forward thinking from the very inception of the school in establishing the vision for the school, which was based on the ancient philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and the school's motto, which is Jai Jagat, and which means Hail the World. So at CMS, a great emphasis is laid on the child's overall development, building the moral character, and inculcating in them global citizenship. So, Sumita ma'am, that's a little brief about the school. I'd like to share my screen with a PPT, if you allow me.
Yes, ma'am. I need to have your PPT here. Yeah, that.
Yeah, I hope you can see it now.
Yes, ma'am. Very clearly.
Okay. So, the true development of a human being. Abdul Baha had said that if you encourage the children from their earliest years to master every kind of learning, whether it is material, spiritual, or human, and make them eager to become skilled in every art. We need to do this kind of education. It's the need of the hour. So, the education of the century, which needs to be both bolder and broader. So, the education rendered by a school needs to do much more than just ensuring good marks on the mark sheet, because we believe that a good education per se must produce much more than just those marks. A good human being with the qualities of a socially motivated, conscious citizen, one which has universal values of global understanding, a spirit of service towards the world, and an attitude of excellence in all things. Education must be a training in logical thinking, which will help the learner to adjust with the ever-changing environment. And there's so much change if we are not going to train or give the skills to our learners for the change that is inevitable. It's going to be they are going to be doomed, because they need to have that kind of a mindset to be able to adapt to change easily. Because we have to provide them education which will lead the opening of the doors of the mind, and cleansing the soul and realization of self. um, so in the present times, education needs to focus on developing skills which are appropriate and requisite to make a person feel at ease in any situation. A person who is a problem solver, one with a presence of mind to be able to handle situations, and one with the ability to be able to critically analyze situations. All kinds of situations the learner will have to face once they move out of the portals of the school. So we have to educate them, we have to provide them the skills to be able to adapt and adjust and react to any kind of situation that come across their way. So our education should be for improving the lives of others. They need to be empathetic towards people around them, so that they leave one's community, or in general, we can say the world, a better place for generations to come. The quality of education that enhances one's personal development will also greatly influence the quality of manpower that we will be providing to the society, the kind of manpower that the society will benefit from. And at this moment, I recall a quote by Carl Jung. He had said many years back, of course, that at present we educate people only up to the point where they can earn a living and marry. Thereafter, education ceases altogether. as though a complete mental outfit has been acquired. And surprisingly, a vast number of men and women thus spend their entire lives in complete ignorance of the other most important things. And similarly, even Aristotle, if I remember right, had said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So we have a very, very important role to play as educators, because for the children, for the learner, they don't need to gain knowledge and just through the books or what is taught in school. It does not necessarily mean that they need to collect have a collection of degrees and certificates, because education should aim at making the human life better, not only by equipping oneself with the necessary skills for their own economic upliftment, but also of one's being as a whole. It should become the medium for realization of the higher truth. And all of us have heard this in context to Buddhism, tamsoma jyotirgamaya, which means that which something which will lead us from light to darkness, from darkness to light. So let us try and provide this kind of education to our learners. So today we are here to deliberate on should, or rather, does education support one's personal development? So for that, we need to understand, what do we mean by personal development? What is the definition that is given to this term personal development? So personal development has been defined as activities that develop a person's capabilities and potential, and facilitates employability, enhances the quality of life, and the realization of dreams and aspirations. Personal development is a lifelong process. You cannot decide that I'm going to do activity A, B, C, and D, and that is it. And I have developed my personality, and I'm equipped for everything that's going to come in my way in my future. So it has to be a lifelong process. Our education system then must inculcate in its learners that desire to become lifelong learners. We cannot come to a stage and feel that I'm saturated, I've done all that I could do, I've learned all that I could learn, and that's it. And I'm now well equipped to go out into the world and face whatever there is, whatever kind of situation that will come across on my path as I move towards the future. So somebody has rightly said, and I read this a while back, that if you want to be wealthy and happy, we all need to learn this lesson well. Learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So how can I have a coherent life? The learner needs to understand, how can I have a coherent life, because they have so many questions in their mind. Because we as educators are teaching them to make the mistake of asking the questions like, what am I getting out of this education? Will this fetch me high grades? Will it get me my dream job? Will I get admission in an Ivy League college? So instead, I think we should teach them to ask, what am I becoming as a result of this education that I'm getting? And it has been proven true that what you become directly influences what you get. So if you want to become a good human being, if you want to get the best in life, you have to become a best image of yourself. So to have more than what you've got, you have to become more than what you are. The job market out there, we all know, with the advancement of information technology and artificial intelligence, there may be a lot of opportunity for all. But we as educators, are we preparing them for such a future? Are we equipping our learners with the skill sets for jobs which are not even there right now and maybe there in the near future? Are we, really preparing them for the unknown? Hu- all of us have very recently experienced this, and we all know that humanity as a whole, we were so unprepared for the unknown. Like even the most advanced nation bowed down to the recent pandemic caused by a microorganism called the coronavirus or the COVID-19 virus. Students need to develop those skills to go through each year, not not preparing them for the next term, not preparing them for the next year, but they need to develop skills for the next decade as socially responsible citizens, and one who are conscious of the affairs of the state, of things that are happening around them in their society, in their country, and globally. They have to be very aware of what all is happening around them. And there's been a lot of change over the last few years, and we have seen a lot of youth coming forward, playing the role, the kind of change that they wish to bring about. So I think the change has begun, and educators around the globe have started training their students, have started providing them the skill sets. Because if we have heard of so many teenage activists from across the globe now who are leading from the front on different issues, like climate change is such an important issue that we all need to, for generations, have been just deliberating on, but we are really not being able to create that kind of a mindset in society that this is the only earth that we have, and we need to look after it. Then we had Greta Thunberg at the United Nations summit, and she's just a teenager who was so vocal in her speech, and all of us have become so familiar with her "How dare you" speech. Similarly, we have Suhagi from Bangladesh, who is very very vocal about how climate change is going to be a disaster for all of us. We There's a teenage activist, Yasmira in Colombia, who has been working on the issue of gender inequality. Then Jess from the United Kingdom is has got a lot of support for from across the community on her activism on street harassment that girls and people at large are encountering. And in our own country, we have Trisha Venkatesh, she's from Bangalore, Tanushi from Chennai, Tarini from New Delhi, Ananya Kamboj from Chandigarh, and there's so many others. So the change has begun. We can feel very happy and proud that somewhere somebody has started making that impact on the present generation, and we can be very hopeful about the future. But again, how much have we been able to achieve really? So let us, as educators of the 21st century, we need to create in our schools that climate of encouragement, which allows to explore the unknown, which allows the children to experiment with ideas, and encourages inquisitiveness. Spiritual understanding, combined with reason, expands a child's ability to better perceive, empathize, and comprehend situations. A school should act. Now, this is very important. At City Montessori School, we really believe this, that a school should act as the lighthouse for society. We need to accept this new responsibility and the expanded role that has been provided to the schools. The future rests upon the kind of environment that is provided within the four walls of the school. Are we providing them that kind of an environment? A spiritually active, a responsible person or a human being will move out of the portals of the school when we as educators provide the right encouraging atmosphere which will educate not only the mind but transform the heart of the individual who has the desire to be of service to humanity. who has the values that can bring about a change in the world, whose ideologies are one, which have empathy as its core value. One learner who moves out with who thinks about giving before getting, and is of strong character, and is able to very easily call a spade with a lot of conviction, and being fearless, is does not bow down to any kind of comments of others, and because it has such a strong character, and that character has been built over the school years with the right kind of encouragement and atmosphere which the school provides. So, as educators of the 21st century, we are preparing our learners for the future. So then let us imbibe in our learners a growth mindset with the global competencies which we have been constantly hearing over from the beginning of the 21st century, the kind of skills that we really need to inculcate in our learners, the 6 C's as they are called, the global competencies which of critical thinking, collaboration, communication, creativity, citizenship, and character. Uh, we need to let our learners become the stewards of their own learning. John Hattie, in his research way back in 2009, had said the best strategies for student learning were metacognitive strategies. And during his research, he updated his list further. And the new list, he called it the student visible learning. And under the student visible learning research, he has said that the learning of a student is should be divided into three parts. The first is like understanding the assigned task. What he said in his previous research about when it's metacognitive, they learn the most. So they need to understand the assigned task first, then understand the process, how it should be taken up, and at the end understand one's expectations of what I believe I can do and how well I can do it. So so if we provide that right kind of education to our learners, of having that kind of growth mindset which is ready to change, which is ready to adapt, which is full of creative ideas, and we allow the flow of these ideas, and allow that kind of inquisitiveness in them, allow them to be creative. I'm sure we will be able to provide the kind of learners that we want, which are, and then we can rightly say that education does develop the personality of the child, and it is the means for personal development for the children. So I'd like to rest my talk with this quote, which says, life is growth, and we stop growing technically and spiritually. If we stop growing technically and spiritually, we are as good as dead. So, creating that right mindset and involving the learners in their own learning will definitely lead to personal development. This is my own personal understanding. Thus, education irrevocably, I'd again say that education irrevocably is the single factor in the evolution of an individual. Schools just don't teach alone. They just don't teach them from the textbook, mathematics, science, languages, arts, but schools educate those within the portal towards a higher purpose in life and towards a more evolved society. So I hope with that I have been able to reach out to you on the topic that education has a role to play in the personal development of a human being. So Sumita, it's over to you now.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And very significantly, you have pointed out certain issues that what am I becoming as a result of this education? And are we all well equipped and making Are children also well equipped to face the unknown? And during the talk, I could see a few questions coming up from the viewers' side. Would like to place those questions to you to satisfy them with your answers. Why is that despite being educated, certain individuals they stoop down to petty level? In such cases, why is educational not instrumental?
Thank you, Sumita, for that question. See, all of us as human beings, we all harbor certain insecurities and what we call inferiority complex. Despite having a formal education, we all may have gone through a formal education, but we have our own insecurities and inferiority complex. But and they are those, there are some people there out there who tend to make the environment toxic, but one can easily beat them without actually joining them. The most important step what I feel is that what they say or do, let's not take it personally, because we need to remember that it's not you, it's them that is making these kind of statements and stooping to that level. And even research has shown that I think about 1% of the population are deliberately malicious. They are those antisocial people. They are there to manipulate, to control people for their own gain, and they don't have that kind of a conscious to stop them. Then, on the other hand, we also have maybe another 10% of people in the world who are subjected to such kind of people. So as a result, they get influenced and they themselves pick up these kind of habits from them. Then the remaining is like many of us, we all have those moments of being mean and sly, or just and that may be just as a result of the of being insecure, or even succumbing to any number of our baser emotions. So we cannot just attribute one shallow behavior to education alone, I feel. And I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Another question, very interesting one. I would like to take it up with you. What is the impact of online education and classes on the personal development of student or any person for that matter?
Yes, I think we've all witnessed this entire year, 2020, with the sudden pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has actually taught the entire world, and especially us educators, with the sudden
Exactly.
lockdown and closing of schools, and even workplaces closed down. That distant and online learning can no longer be our plan B. We across the globe, distant and online learning has been there for many years now, but it was always a plan B, or there was some kind of a hybrid model which was being practiced in some parts of the world. And but we've seen that the advancement of technology, and all of us have learned this session that this advancement of technology, and especially the various learning platforms available, the educational tech tools available, these are all promoting a lot of self learning because of the live sessions that are there for the students, and the simulations, and the easily available text for learners online. So this kind of education is here to stay now. And but again, like you just asked, it has its pros and cons. While self-learning on online medium has promoted and enhanced a lot of skills in our learners, it's like communication. Collaboration has one skill which we have actually seen being developed in our schools among the students. Organization is another skill which they have developed. They have all learned a lot as we have gone online. Time management is another skill which is very evident. And of course, being online, digital skills is something which almost every learner, as young as a 3 or 4 year old, right up to college. They've all developed that particular skill a lot, and largely over this year. But at the same time, it has also, led to mental, emotional, and academic fallouts for many. And I'd say research has actually shown that remote and online learning can be as good as in-person learning, but only to those who actually choose it. There are many who prefer, online courses and remote learning from the shelter of their homes. So when a student actually chooses such a medium for his or her own learning, then it is as good as face-to-face learning for that particular student. But and this we are experiencing in school. We've noticed that some of the very self-motivated learners, they are doing equally well on the online medium, whereas we have the other kind of learners who are not still, even after so many months, very very comfortable with this medium to learn. So you have the self-motivated learners and one who's not gaining much or nothing, maybe at for some, in this online mode. And there's a lot of isolation in students because of the lack of face-to-face interactions with peers and teachers, because many of our students of all ages, we've noticed over the past few months that they probably require that kind of atmosphere. They need to be in a classroom, they need the peer support, they need the face-to-face interaction with their teachers. So for those students, it is this online medium has, has impacted their emotional and social development hugely. And we really need to be very empathetic towards these students and get them out of this turmoil that they are going through presently. But like again, I just said again, on a very positive note, many online learners are becoming more independent. They are using a lot of metacognitive approach towards their self-learning. So they're learning to be, be able to better utilize their downtime to do more productive work, and in the process, I feel self-training themselves into better and more productive individuals. And the kind of future that we are seeing with artificial intelligence and technological progress, I think these learners which are so self-motivated, they are definitely going to be a lot of benefit to the job market and to the society as a whole, because many of our learners, we have observed, are they're improving their skill levels when it comes to communication techniques and the technological prowess with which they are using these tools for enhancement of their learning. It's definitely very encouraging, and creating self-motivated, independent youth, which has a very strong mindset, and one who is, with the things being online, they are able to collaborate with a lot many more people, not necessarily only with the teachers and the peers in the class or other students in school. They are easily collaborating with people across the world, and many a times we have seen that teachers are connecting to other teachers from different parts of the world, and getting them to address these children, to take lectures, to have an interactive session with them. So it has its pros and cons, the online learning that we have experienced recently, but I think everything has this pros and cons, and the ones who have grabbed this opportunity, they have developed their personalities hugely. And let's hope that the percentage of learners who are still feeling lost, they soon find their ground, and they also benefit from it. So
Thank you
I
so much,
think
ma'am, for answering these questions. And it was wonderful hosting you. and listening to you on such a grave issue and a vital issue, that how education can shape up our personal development, and how can we make the best use of the given situation. In any given situation, how can we prove our mettle and how can we come up strong in that given situation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mrs. Aditi Sharma, Principal, City Montessori School, Lucknow, joining us this afternoon and giving us a very important talk on this issue. We would like all our dear viewers to invite them on the 13th Ed Leadership International Virtual Roundtable Conference, which is going to begin on 21st January 2021, and also join us on this disruptive education movement and strengthen our efforts. Thank you so much. See you next.
And thank you, Sumita, and thank you, Global Education and Getty, for getting me on board. It's been a very enriching experience for me as well. Thank you, everyone.
Our pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.